What is something that everyone looks bad doing?
Everything, all the time. We have no clue.
For me, everything. Living.
Going about my daily business, I have no bloody clue.
Okay, well, I think chasing a plastic bag or like chasing, like a bill or something like that in the wind, like down the street. No one looks good doing that.
Like trying to catch a butterfly, because no one can ever see the butterfly. So you're just like rolling around.
How often do you try to catch butterflies as an adult?
Every summer day. Or like falling upstairs. My big thing is falling up the escalators on the tube, on the metro underground.
Oh my god. When you're walking up because everyone else is standing and you feel so good about yourself because they're all standing and you're walking and then you trip. It's mortifying.
I like run. I'm like one of those people who like runs up and then I fall. And the thing is as well, there's like always someone next to you standing there being all concerned about your pain. And like because they're like jagged like elevators, like escalators, it's painful. And you're like, no, I'm fine, don't worry about me. And you're just there splayed across the escalator floor. Or just stairs in general. Like, I'm not good at going up or downstairs.
Do you know it's hard because we're both tall, right? The hard part is that because you're tall, you have big feet, right? So you can't actually stand, like when you're walking, you can't just like step with the one foot in front of the other. You almost have to angle your feet, especially when you're walking downstairs. I'm sure not extremely tall people have the same issue. But I mean, or you have your feet dangle over the edge and then there's that heart racing moment where your foot slips and you go, whoop, and you have to like catch yourself.
Oh my God. No, walking downstairs in slippers is just
nightmare.
Move.
Yeah, I envision myself projectile to the wall. Like I can see myself doing it.
What about like you wave at someone and you try and wave at them and they think like don't think you're, or like someone waves at you but it's not at you, it's at the person behind.
I think that's happened to everyone.
I'll just wave at anyone.
Oh yeah, when you're walking towards someone on the street and you come to the point where you're going to run into each other, so you do the whole fake out thing where you don't know which way they're going or which way you're going, and you have to kind of play that little dance. So uncomfortable. Some people say if you just don't look at them, but I said, so what do you do? Just avoid eye contact? What if they're also not looking?
It should be like planes and boats. You always go to the right, or like they always pass by the right, so you always go to the left. So it doesn't matter, like we should have like a thing on pavements when you're walking by someone, everyone always leans to the left so that everyone always passes on the right. That's
a great idea theoretically, but in North America we drive on the right hand side of the road. So when I went to London, you naturally just go on whatever side you're driving, right? Like you naturally pass on that side. But when I went to London, when I lived there, I was obviously going the wrong way, so I came into that very awkward moment like we were talking about quite frequently because everyone in England is like, what are you doing? Like, this is not what we do. I'm so sorry, I'm trying to reverse it and I don't know.
I'm trying to drive on the wrong side of the road. Like I've done it so many times. I've ended up stalling on roundabouts. It's not been a pretty sight.
I can barely drive normally. Don't give me the task of, first of all, I don't know how to drive stick. Sorry, but I don't. Yeah, everyone in England seems to, and I'm like, you guys are.
Yeah, that's how you learn. That's how you learn. You don't learn with an automatic.
I learned. Well, okay, I did. So.
Then you don't know really how to drive a car. That's pretty stupid looking.
You're kind of a loser.
That was really mean what I just said as well.
It's okay, I was honest though, and I appreciate that. Can you teach me how to drive stick? Because I don't think I know. And it's not just driving stick. It's driving stick with the steering wheel on the other side of the road. There's so many times that I was driving with an ex of mine and he was driving and I was in the passenger seat and I was like, oh, because, and also you guys drive like maniacs in England. Absolute maniacs. I remember going down like, the back roads when you're, especially in Essex, when you're in the back roads driving down. And like people, because they come head on if there's somebody coming from the other way. And I remember I felt like, that scene in Harry Potter where Harry Potter is in like the bus and they were like driving that's honestly, and like I thought that was just exaggerating. No, for everyone who's not from England, that is just how they drive. That's just, they don't really, and then they'll just slam on their brakes and like swerve and they're like, well, he has to come by. How did you see that?
My friend actually drove the wrong way down a one-way bus lane once. I did also once turn into a one-way road, but I quickly reversed back out the right way.
That's another embarrassing thing. When you are walking somewhere, you're going in a certain direction, then you realize you're going the wrong way. So you have to like stop. Nobody looks cool like stopping dead in their tracks, pivoting and going back.
Especially if you catch eye contact with someone as you're doing it. So you kind of look up, look at them, and then you turn away and walk the other way. Like you're like walking away from them.
But then you have to pretend like you just got a text or something saying that you have to go. You're like, oh.
No. Oh my god, I've done that so many times. You started walking and then you realise they say you kind of like look at your phone and be like,
yeah, and you're like, oh.
Turn the other way.
Okay. Oh. She doesn't want to meet up here anymore.
Yeah. That plan's changed. I guess I'll head back in that direction.
I'm not alone. Everybody else does this too.
Nobody wants to look like an idiot though.
No, like nobody looks cool wearing flippers. Like when you're in the pool, nobody exits the pool wearing their flippers and they go
I don't know, I feel like look like a mermaid.
Okay, no, even if you did, even mermaids wouldn't look graceful like flopping their bodies out of the water because then they would have to put their hands and just like shuffle them.
Can you imagine them trying to flail up the beach, just like, you know, like a fish out of water, but a mermaid with all her hair going everywhere, like shells coming off her breasts.
Seaweed everywhere.
Flailing.
Mascara's just down. Looks like me on a night out.
Just rolling past everyone on the beach. Don't mind me. I just want an ice cream.
Just out for a Saturday stroll. See, mermaids have a tough go. I don't think we give them the credit they deserve.
Mermaids are pretty stupid looking. There you go. Also, do mermaids open their eyes? Like, are their eyes... You know how you can't open your eyes in the swimming pool? I don't know who does this or how people do this, but you cannot...
I can. So I'm a pansy for not knowing how to drive stick, but you're over here and you're saying, I can't open my eyes under the water. Grow up. 4-year-olds do it.
How'd you do that? It hurts so much.
Are you talking about chlorine? Of course chlorine's gonna hurt. It's a chemical on your eyes. Of course it's gonna hurt.
Salt water.
I open my eyes, but then you look like you're absolutely stoned afterwards because your eyes are like, they look like you could blow beams down someone's face. But it's worth it because you feel like a mermaid.
Is that like the mermaids see as well? They just look like they're stoned, flailing up this beach looking like they're high as anything. Get me an ice cream.
See, mermaids aren't so romantic as they seem when you paint them with this paintbrush. You know, someday we're gonna be at like a party and they're gonna say, oh man, I wish I was a mermaid, and we're gonna turn into, don't you dare.
No, you do not.
You have no idea what mermaids go through. I think we thought about this too much. Do you know what else is embarrassing? When you go on rants about what mermaids are like. I feel like nobody looks cool. You know, okay, nobody looks cool when you when you eat something that's too hot and you have to do that like dragon breath thing where you go.
I literally drank tea today and it was way too hot. I put it in my mouth and I just let it dribble out because I couldn't. And it's like my mum and I are sitting at the table with like, you know, nice china, and I just drink it and I'm an elbow.
Never crossed your mind to spit it back into a cup, but you just let it dribble down your face like you had a stroke.
I meant I let it dribble back into the cup.
Can't even drink tea. That's a staple of English culture. How can you not? Oh my god, another one is like eating spaghetti when you're at a restaurant. Like, I don't look cute when I'm eating because for me, eating is like an Olympic sport.
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that at all. I kind of feel like I want to go on a first date and
just
order
be messy.
Spaghetti just for the idea of like, just because everyone's like, no, never order it on a first date. Well, you're either going to have me, you know, this is what it's going to look like in 3 months' time. You might as well get it over with now.
It's more so like, you know, when you put too much in and you have like food dangling out of your mouth and you're like, oh, and you're trying to get it in fast enough, but like you can't catch it and you feel like a velociraptor and you're just like, like, you know when they're eating the chicken and they're just like, that's not sexy. I can't make that look sexy.